The global system you trust every day isn't failing loudly. It's quietly rewiring itself while most people still think nothing has changed. What looks like stability is actually pressure being redistributed, hidden behind dashboards, forecasts, and reassuring headlines. This matters now because the next shock won't look like a crisis until it's already irreversible. Modern systems don't collapse from one big event. They degrade through small, rational decisions made under stress. Every layer is optimized for efficiency, but efficiency removes slack, and slack is what absorbs shocks. When buffers disappear, minor disruptions propagate instead of stopping locally. Institutions respond by adding complexity, not resilience, creating structures that work perfectly until they suddenly don't. Risk is no longer eliminated. It's displaced, moved from visible places into abstract mechanisms few people understand. This creates a paradox where confidence rises even as underlying fragility increases. Early warning signs exist, but they're statistical, not emotional, so they're easy to ignore. By the time narratives change, incentives are already locked in. Decision-makers optimize for quarterly survival, not systemic longevity. Each short-term fix slightly narrows the system's future options. Eventually, flexibility collapses, even if performance metrics still look healthy. To understand what breaks next, we first need to see what's already being quietly stretched. Imagine the system as a giant risk engine that never stops running. When pressure rises, it doesn't release, it reroutes. The rerouting happens through invisible channels, debt layers, leverage loops, algorithmic triggers, and synchronized behavior. That's why the same shock today can produce wildly different outcomes than the same shock 10 years ago. In the past, failures were localized. Now they're networked because everything is collateral for something else. When one node weakens, other nodes don't wait. They react instantly, often automatically. Speed is sold as safety, but speed can turn small errors into system-wide cascades. And because the machine is complex, no single operator can see the whole picture in real time. So control becomes a performance. Dashboards glow, committees meet, statements reassure, while the engine keeps rerouting pressure. The public sees calm surfaces. Insiders see stress moving underground like water beneath thin ice. This is why soft landings often feel real until they suddenly don't. The final break rarely starts at the center. It starts at the margins where buffers are weakest. One overlooked corner becomes the fuse, a liquidity gap, a settlement delay, a mispriced assumption. Once the fuse lights, responses become reflexes. Pause, patch, inject, deny, then repeat. But every rescue teaches the system the same lesson. Take more risk because someone will catch you. And that's the loop we have to confront next, the incentive trap that keeps pushing fragility higher. The incentive trap works because no one feels responsible for the final outcome, only for their slice of the process. Each actor is rational alone, but collectively they push the system toward fragility. Safety becomes something that exists on paper, not in structure. Rules multiply, but resilience doesn't, because rules can't replace real buffers. Over time, the system forgets what failure actually feels like. When memory fades, risk no longer looks dangerous, it looks efficient. This is how stability turns into complacency without anyone choosing it directly. By the time stress is visible to everyone, exits are narrow and crowded. What finally breaks is rarely the biggest component. It's the least understood one. The collapse, when it comes, feels sudden only because the slow buildup was invisible. But collapse isn't the only possible ending. Systems can be redesigned if incentives change before limits are reached. That means trading speed for slack, efficiency for margin, growth for durability. The hardest step is admitting that the current path feels good precisely because it's risky. The question isn't whether the system will change, it's whether it changes by design or by force.